The first bark hit like a gunshot. Isabella Hartman froze mid-step, one hand instinctively clutching her 8-month pregnant belly. The sharp, commanding sound sliced through the constant drone of the airport, rolling suitcases, boarding calls, scattered conversations. 20 feet ahead, a massive German shepherd stood like a statue, muscles coiled, eyes locked on her, as if she were the only person in the terminal. His handler, Officer Logan Reeves, gripped the leash so tightly his knuckles whitened. Titan didn't move. He didn't blink. The low, vibrating growl that followed wasn't random. It was deliberate, a warning. Only then did Isabella notice the crowd slowing heads, turning phones, lifting discreetly to record. The scent of brewed coffee mixed with the sterile tang of disinfectant filled the air, but all she could focus on was the dog's unyielding stare. The international terminal, moments ago, alive with motion and chatter, seemed to hold its breath. Every echo off the tile floor was sharper, every whisper louder. Isabella's pulse quickened. She had no idea why this animal had singled her out, but deep in her chest, a cold ripple spread. Something was wrong, terribly wrong, and she could feel it before anyone said a word. Logan Reeves knew Titan better than anyone on the airport security team. The dog didn't bark at random. Every reaction came from instinct honed over years of training. But this wasn't the rigid tail-high alert of detecting contraband or explosives. This was something else, something personal. Passengers slowed to watch, murmuring to each other, their curiosity a low buzz beneath the tension. A supervisor in a navy blazer approached, voice steady, but edged with authority. "Ma'am, would you mind stepping with us for a quick check?" Isabella blinked, confusion clouding her features. I haven't done anything," she stammered, clutching the strap of her camera bag like a shield. "You're not in trouble," the supervisor said, but the firm tone left no room for refusal. With 2 uniformed officers flanking her, Isabella followed them down a side corridor. Titan's gaze tracked her the entire time, his growl never fully fading. They entered a small, sterile screening room, metal chairs, a table, the faint smell of disinfectant. Officers began methodically inspecting her bag, camera lenses, and personal items. Outside, Titan's claws tapped the tile in restless loops. Every few seconds, a sharp whine pierced the air, as if the dog already knew something no one else could see. Isabella sat on the edge of the metal table, her camera strap still hanging from one shoulder. She tried to steady her breathing, but the room felt smaller with every passing second. A female officer approached with a calm, measured tone. "Any medical conditions we should know about?" "I'm 7 months pregnant," Isabella answered hesitantly, her hand resting protectively on her belly. The officer nodded and stepped away to make a note. That's when it happened. A sharp, primal groan tore from Isabella's throat. Her hands clutched her stomach as she doubled over, the camera strap sliding off her arm and hitting the floor. The sound was raw more than pain. It was panic. Logan, waiting outside, heard it instantly. He pushed into the room in 2 strides, his pulse spiking. Isabella's skin was pale, her forehead damp with sweat, and her breathing came in short, uneven gasps. "This isn't nerves," Logan said sharply. "Get medical now." Within seconds, paramedics burst in, kits clattering as they dropped to their knees beside her. One clipped a monitor to her finger, another pressed a stethoscope to her chest. Blood pressure unstable, heartbeat erratic, one muttered. Possible premature labor. But his tone held doubt. Something didn't add up. Outside the closed door, Titan's pacing became frantic. His whines rose into sharp, urgent barks, claws scraping against the tile. The lead paramedic glanced at Logan, his voice grim. "We move her now." Logan followed as they lifted Isabella onto the stretcher, the dog's barking echoing in his ears like an alarm only he truly understood. The stretcher burst through the door, flanked by paramedics moving with urgent precision. Logan cleared a path through the terminal, his voice sharp over the hum of travelers. "Make way." Passengers stepped aside, their confused murmurs swallowed by the urgent commands of the medical team. Titan trotted alongside, head low, ears pinned, every muscle taut. His eyes never left Isabella, and each bark seemed timed with her shallow, pained breaths. Outside, the muggy air hit like a wave. The ambulance waited at the curb, back doors open. The paramedics lifted her inside in one smooth motion. Logan stepped back, but stayed close enough to see her face. Isabella's skin was damp, lips pale, her voice barely more than a whisper. Thank you. Her gaze flickered toward Titan. The German Shepherd's tail moved just once, a small, almost imperceptible wag, but his focus never wavered. The ambulance roared to life, weaving into traffic. Logan watched it disappear, the weight in his chest sinking deeper. Without Titan, she might never have made it this far. At the hospital, the sterile light of the waiting room replaced the chaos of the terminal. Logan sank onto a metal bench outside the ER, Titan lying at his feet. The dog's eyes stayed fixed on the swinging doors, every ear twitch signaling hope or fear at each movement inside. Hours crawled by. Logan replayed the scene in his mind, the sudden bark, the relentless stare, the low growl that had unsettled even him. If he'd dismissed it, he didn't finish the thought. When the ER doors finally swung open, a doctor stepped out, his voice calm but weighted. She's alive, the baby too. If she hadn't been treated exactly when she was... He paused, shaking his head. Your dog saved 2 lives today. Logan looked at Titan, his throat tight. Good work, partner. The dog's tail tapped the floor, quiet, sure. The relief that washed over Logan was almost dizzying. He sank back onto the bench, the tension in his shoulders finally easing, though exhaustion clung to him like a heavy coat. Titan lay beside him, head resting on his paws, his breathing slow and steady now. The hospital was quiet, but every sound, the squeak of shoes, the soft hum of machines felt amplified after the chaos of the airport. Logan kept replaying the day's events. Titan's sharp bark, the unwavering stare, the way the dog had refused to back down. Instinct pure and unshakable had cut through the noise and saved a life. A nurse approached quietly, holding a small folded piece of paper. She asked me to give you this, she said softly. Logan took it carefully. The paper was creased, the ink smudged in one corner, but the words were clear. Tell the dog he's my angel. His chest tightened. He read it again, slower this time, letting the weight of it sink in. Titan tilted his head, sensing the shift in Logan's breathing. You hear that, partner? Logan murmured, his voice low. You're someone's angel now. Titan leaned subtly against Logan's leg, the warmth of his body grounding the moment in something real and solid. Outside, the last light of day was fading, painting the hospital entrance in soft gold and muted blue. For Logan, it was more than a job well done. It was proof. Proof that sometimes the most vital warnings can't be explained, only trusted. He reached for Titan's leash, giving it a gentle tug. Come on, Angel, he said quietly. And together they walked into the fading light, leaving the chaos behind, but carrying the bond that had just saved 2 lives. The next morning, Logan returned to the hospital, Titan trotting proudly at his side. The corridors smelled faintly of coffee and disinfectant, the air quieter than the bustling terminal from the day before. Nurses smiled as they passed, their eyes lingering on the German Shepherd, who had become the talk of the ward overnight. When Logan reached Sophie's room, he paused at the door. Through the small window, he saw her sitting upright in bed, her newborn swaddled in pale blue blankets. Her face was still pale, but the exhaustion was softened by a quiet joy. Come in. She called, her voice warm but weak. Titan entered first, tail low, but wagging gently. Sophie's eyes filled instantly with tears. There's my angel, she whispered. She reached out a trembling hand and Titan stepped closer, resting his head gently on the bed. This is who you saved, she murmured, tilting the bundle so Titan could sniff. The dog's nose twitched, his gaze softening as if he understood exactly what he was looking at. Logan stood back, letting the moment breathe. The hospital room was silent except for the soft hum of the monitors, and yet it felt full of gratitude, relief, and something unspoken that bound them all together. Not many people get a second chance, Sophie said, looking up at Logan. You and him gave me mine. Logan met her gaze, then glanced at Titan. We just listened, he said simply. Sometimes Logan thought the greatest heroes aren't the loudest. They walk beside us quietly until the moment their instincts roar to life and change everything. This story carries a powerful reminder about the value of trust instinct and silent vigilance. In life, not all dangers are visible, and not all heroes wear uniforms. Sometimes they walk quietly beside us, watching, sensing, and protecting without asking for recognition. Titan's unwavering focus and refusal to ignore what he sensed saved 2 lives, proving that intuition, whether human or animal, should never be dismissed. We often live in a rush, relying solely on logic, technology, and visible evidence. Yet this moment shows that instincts sharpened by experience and care can detect what our eyes cannot see. It teaches us to slow down, pay attention to subtle signs, and respect those who act out of genuine concern. It also speaks to the importance of loyalty and selflessness. Titan didn't think about glory or reward. He acted because the safety of another life mattered more than anything else. In our own lives, we can strive to be that kind of presence for others, quietly dependable, alert, and ready to act when someone needs us most. Sometimes the smallest act of awareness can become the turning point that saves a life.